Stand up, please. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Hands up in the air, this way, around this way, around this way. High five your neighbor. All right, sit down. Let's get started. All right. My name is Chris Knight. I'm the CEO of EasyArticles.com. How many here write for EasyArticles.com? You're an expert author. All right, about half the audience. Awesome. So instead of doing the presentation and then waiting till the end to ask questions, if I say something that you like, I can't believe you just said that, or wait a minute, he's missing a tip, or no, I got a question. Run to the mic, interrupt me, and I'll take your questions throughout the talk. So a little bit interactive. And then, so the whole basis of this talk should have been labeled, instead of calling it Scaling Article Marketing for Affiliate Marketers, it probably should have been called How to Get Lots of Free Money-Getting Traffic. Because I thought about that title after I wrote it, and I thought, no, that's kind of boring. So we all want traffic, right? Because everybody has a website, we have this problem, right? Without traffic, we got no business. So my talk is on how to use article content to attract free qualified visitors back to your website. The traffic that usually comes from article marketing, anyone not know what article marketing is? This is where you use content. It's like content marketing. Articles, content is marketing. So you use brief articles and you distribute them, and then people pick them up. And then at the very bottom of your article, there's a link to a website like yours, and then you get traffic. So you give of yourself in the body of the article, and then you get traffic back in exchange. So it's content exchange for traffic. It's been around for a long time as a concept. 4 reasons why to get highly pre-qualified traffic. This traffic isn't just any kind of traffic. It's not junk traffic or crap traffic. It's when a visitor comes to your article and then surfs to your website, they're already pre-qualified because they've already learned something about you. You've already given value to them. Most competitors, of course, don't think big, and of course the bottom line is millions of free visitors back to your website. That's the real reason why. Our Alexa rank as of this morning is 131, so we're the 131st most popular website in the world, 58th in the United States, and we're pretty happy about that. The goal this year is to, I can tell you a quick story. So I wanted to be a rock star, but as you can see, I didn't get the goods. I didn't get the looks, I didn't get the voice, I have musical talent, I don't play any instruments, I can't sing, I can barely do karaoke, and that's kind of scary. But the reason I wanted to be a rock star is because I wanted to create massive amounts of value because I knew that the way to get money for me is a measure of value. So the more value you create, the more money you can earn, right? So that I wanted to be a rock star because I wanted to create massive amounts of value for millions of people. And I knew I couldn't do that working one-on-one in consulting, and I knew I couldn't do it working in a job alone. And I knew that this site, EasyArticles.com, is my vehicle as well as a platform that others use to create and attract traffic back to your website, and we have 1 million daily unique visitors. And that took about 10 years. And this year the goal is to attract 1 million visitors before GST. GST is short for Google Standard Time, which is Pacific Standard Time. So 2 o'clock in our afternoon in the Central Standard Time. So I have a quick formula. Your traffic is in direct proportion to the amount of content inventory times various quality factors. I'm going to talk about them a bit. Of course, social media, email, and RSS widgets fuel the fire. And I want to do a quick little experiment. So on this side of the room, if you're on this side, you got 3 words, okay? You have to repeat after me. Write more articles. Okay, one more time. Really loud this time. Write more articles. Okay. I'm not doing this very well. On the count of 3, you're going to say, write more articles. I want you to scream it out to me. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Write more articles.
Okay, on this side of the room, you're going to say, get more traffic. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Get more traffic.
That's right. So if you write more articles, you're going to get more traffic. And that's one of the themes I want you to take away from this talk. Here's a great example. Breakfast or a small grocery store. Imagine a small convenience store with 10,000 items, maybe 1,000 items, versus a regional grocery store that has 10,000 items, versus Walmart that may have hundreds of thousands of items. Which one, of course, has more sales? Well, Walmart, right? And why does Walmart have more sales? Well, they have more opportunities to sell you something when you come in there. I can't get out of Walmart without spending 50 bucks. So the concept here is that if you want to, of course, get more traffic, you're going to have more articles. And every article that you have on your website, whether it's in syndication or distribution, syndication is a fancy word for distribution. If you want more traffic, you're going to have more articles. And it's that simple. So when I started building this site, I realized that we're going to have millions of articles. It took us about 2 million before we saw our first daily million unique visitors. That's kind of a clue. So maybe you might want to take that back and think about, how can I increase my content footprint? How can I write more articles? Whether or not you syndicate them, that's up to you. So you're going to be in one of two camps. You're going to either have more time than money, and this is where you're going to write and submit your own articles, or you're going to have more money than time, in which case you're going to have someone write and submit your articles for you, or you're going to have a hybrid of both, where you're writing and or purchasing. Let me do a quick round of hands here. How many of you write your own articles? Raise your hand. How many of you buy from a ghostwriter? Oh, almost more than half the audience. How many do both? All right. On ghostwriters, here's 7 quick tips on what to do with ghostwriters. Anyone here, raise your hand if you're a ghostwriter? So I'm going to apologize to you, because I'm kind of tough on ghostwriters. The first rule of ghostwriters, as a purchaser of ghostwriting, is to never trust your ghostwriters. You just can't. And the reason you can't is because ultimately your name or your company name is on the line with everything that they sell you. So you must never trust your ghostwriter. And this is even after you train them yourself. It's kind of scary. Provide them with keyword direction and article titles. So instead of just saying, I just want you to write 50 articles on, give me a market here, a niche, skiing or something, or travel. Instead of just saying, give me 50 articles on travel, you have to get real specific and tell them, I want, here's the 50 article titles I want you to write the articles on. Okay? Don't assume that keyword writers or ghost writers are also SEO aware. They must deliver you exclusive rights. So what's that? Exclusive rights is when there's 2 types of content. Non-exclusive rights and exclusive rights. Non-exclusive rights means anyone can put their name on the article. We also call that private label rights. Exclusive rights means that when you buy the article, only your name or your pen name, your pseudo name, will be on that article. Okay? And you want to have exclusive rights. No Frankenstein content. You've seen this content. It's rehashed, regurgitated. I also call it article vomit. What to pay for an article? $4 to $40 per article is kind of the going rate. Most people pay between $4 to $8, $9, $10, $15 an article. That's kind of the going rate. How many here pay more? How many pay less than $4 per article when you buy content? Raise your hand. $4 to $10. $11 to $20. Okay, that's more than $50. All right, more than $100.
How many words that goes out?
400 to 800 words. I think I cover that next in here. Nope, I didn't. Yeah, 400 to 800 words is the sweet spot. 250 words was the sweet spot as the lowest you want to write for, and now it's more like 400 words is kind of my base bottom for where I recommend. You can find content from various websites, and also volume won't cut it. 10 years ago, 1999, 10 articles would have been enough for a while. But you know what? Writing articles and submitting articles to sites like ours and your own website, it's kind of like marketing and advertising. How many of you advertise only once a year? right? You don't just advertise once a year. And by the way, if you're on Twitter, I'm Chris Knight, or Easy on Articles, and of course you know the hashtag ASW10. I appreciate if you tweet. If you tweet stuff that I say, then our managing editor back at home is going to take snapshots of these slides and throw them up on Twitter at the same time. Here's a little clue. If a ghostwriter claims that their articles are copyscape proof, anyone here from Copyscape? You are? If they claim that they're copyscape proof, my recommendation, is to avoid them. Because here's my rub. Why would I have to tell you that my article is copyscape proof if I wrote it? That makes no sense. So if I wrote the article and I'm selling you my article because I'm a ghostwriter, I shouldn't have to say that it's copyscape proof. That's silly talk. Sorry. Do you agree or no? I didn't trust a ghostwriter. But it blows me away when they say, oh, by the way, even though I'm writing for you brand new, original, quality, unique articles that you're going to have the exclusive rights to, they're also copyscape proof. It's like, why would they have to say that? That's, Scaling content and traffic requires a team approach. And for one reason. You can't possibly write fast enough. How many articles can you write a day? How many can you, Kathy?
8 or 10 if I'm in the group.
So Kathy can write 8 or 10 articles. That's pretty rare. Most people can write between 2 to 4, maybe 5 a day. And so Kathy can write 10. Anyone here can write more than 10 articles in a day? Okay, so there's your challenge. You're limited to that level of production. So you've got to systematize your article title writing because your writers aren't SEO experts usually. If a writer is an SEO expert, usually here's what I found. Usually there's a scale of they're either not an expert at all or they're such an efficient SEO expert that they hand you this keyword dense garbage of, like they have like a 8% keyword density and it's just garbage and it looks like they're just keyword whores. And that's not good for you because your reputation's on the line. And of course, the question comes up, what's a good keyword density? I don't know. We have a guideline that says 1 to 2 words per 1 to 2 repeats of a key phrase per 100 words. In other words, a 1 to 2% key word or key phrase density. So here's some article content sources you can use. The long tail or keyword research, you can use Google Insights, you can use various Google Suggest, you can use good keywords, you can use keyword discovery. Does anyone have a really great keyword? Let's pause from the speaker now. Does anyone have a really good keyword tool that you use? Yell it out. A good keyword research tool you use. WordTrack. WordTracker, that one? Is that the one? Google itself, okay. Another keyword? Spacky? All right, Spacky. S-P-A-C-K-Y, Spacky. All right, I haven't used that one. Any other keyword research tools you've used to write articles?
Google Search Complete.
Google Search Complete? Right. All right. Is that like Google? Is that the same as Google Suggest? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Word Tracker. Old easy articles. Articles you've written in the past. In fact, if you're brand new, for the half of the room that didn't raise your hand before about being an author or having written articles, before you begin writing your first 10 articles, your first 100 articles, I say stop. Look to your existing content. You've already written articles in the past. You have old easy articles. You've got a blog probably by now. You have archives. You have old ebooks. You have forum posts. You have all kinds of content you've already produced. You've got support emails minus the private data. So when you're sending an email to a customer, some of you have article templates where you send your member support, your client support can send here's 20 most commonly asked questions by your clients, and then you send this little template email response. That makes great article content, minus, of course, any personal information. Ebooks, outdated books, news and current interest topics. This concept here is called audio to articles. Some of our members haven't written a word yet. They may have 100 or 200 articles on our site. And so I thought, wow, that's a cool concept. And what they do is that they speak for an hour. They'll do a teleseminar, or they'll do a webinar, or they'll just record it into a mic, and they'll have it transcribed. And when they have it transcribed, it costs between $60 to $100 for an hour of transcription. Does anyone do this, by the way? Raise your hand. 2, 3. And this can usually produce about 10 to 15 articles per hour. And you can talk much faster than you can write. And not only that, but when you talk and then you have it transcribed and you do a little edit job, that's really unique content because most likely it's not derivative. Even if you say the same stuff that others have said before you, it's unlikely that you're going to have said it in a way that someone else has said it. Highly unique voice, speed and leverage. So now this is, who here has heard of the long tail? So it's not a new concept. There's three aspects of the tail that I think of. I think of the head of the tail, which is right here, the middle of the tail, and then the long tail. I'm going to give you an example of a long tail concept. Weight loss. If you write an article about weight loss, that's like at the head of the tail. And that means that there's a huge content supply of articles on weight loss, and there's a huge market demand for weight loss, which means your chances of ranking high in the search engine is where? Below the stage. It's right here. It's really difficult. And so therefore, I recommend writing no more than 20% of your content for the head of the tail. In the middle of the tail, I think the middle of the tail is where, this is just an example, weight loss for men. So if weight loss is the head of the tail, weight loss for men is the middle of the tail. This is where there's medium competition and there's medium content supply. And your chances of ranking in the search engines? Fair. It's pretty good. And of course, the long tail, here's an example, weight loss for men over 30. So I suggest writing about, when you write topics like that, so weight loss is the head, weight loss for men is the mid as an example, and then weight loss for men over 30 is the long tail, your chances of ranking in the search engines or getting more traffic for that content is pretty high because there's a very low demand and there's very low supply. So you can dominate the long tail pretty easily. The challenge I have with writing just for the long tail, if someone says, I'm only going to write for the long tail. Well, here's the problem. There's not a very high content demand in the long tail. So I think the money is right here in the middle of the tail. Anyone disagree with that? No? Yeah? Chris Anderson gets the kudos for creating this concept from Wired magazine. He created it quite a few years ago. So now this is, I was doing Yannick Silver's conference, and you've all heard of the 4 Ps, right? Or the 5 Ps or the 6 Ps of product, price, place, position, that sort of thing in marketing, right? So I created this web content mix strategy, and then I changed it to web content money getting strategy, but it's really about traffic getting, because before money, you have to have traffic. So the first one is number 1, which is original content you don't syndicate. This should be 25% or more of your total content. Now, I'm not talking about content you submit to easyarticles.com. I'm thinking in the totality of all your content, okay? So of all your content, 25% or more should be original content that you do not share. Now, of course, it might be ripped off anyway, but still, you're starting with the idea that you're not going to share this content. Your website's going to have at least 25% of content that you do not share. And it's original. It's exclusive rights to you. The second level is original content you do syndicate. Syndicate, again, is a fancy word for distribute. And when you distribute content, there's two tiers of distribution. The first tier are large sites with lots of traffic, and they're portal sites. easyarticles.com might be just one of those. Okay, so we can get you lots of traffic. Our authority for getting traffic is high, but our authority as a niche site is kind of low because we're in 604 different markets right now. The second tier, tier number 2, are small niche websites. So using the travel example, the travel content, if I were writing an article on, let's see here, travel to St. Bart's, right? I would want to have, number 1, my content distributed to a site like easyarticles.com because I can get lots of traffic for it, and most likely we can probably get you more traffic than you can with your own blog, just because we've been around for 10 years and we got it going on. And then type 2, which is websites that specialize in St. Bart's travel, in this example. So 2 types. Type 1, high traffic sites. Type 2, authority sites. These authority sites, like that St. Bart's example, that site's not going to get you a lot of traffic. It's not going to, it's not going to make your website hit counter go, woo! It's just not going to happen. But the quality of that backlink is going to be much higher than that of easyarticles.com. Do you rewrite the article to be syndicated? No. Oh, well, okay, number one, content you don't syndicate. Which means then, if you're talking about content that you do syndicate, that's different than the content that you don't syndicate. Because if you syndicate the first one, then you're not, I don't know if that makes sense, you're not really rewriting it then.
My question wasn't so clear. With respect to your point about the St. Bart's example, so you get the St. Bart's article here on Easy, you've got a second St. Bart's.
Okay, so the question is, should you send the same article to the type 1 sites as the type 2 sites? I think yes. If you disagree with me, rewrite the article. I'm not sure it matters. What do you think? No? Doesn't matter? What's that? It doesn't matter to us. As easyarticles.com, we'll accept any article that is exclusive to your name. It does not have to be exclusive to our site. That's a little misnomer that we slip in there that we don't quite make clear, and I'm not sure if we should make it more clear. Because we want people to think that, of course, you're only here at Affiliate Summit, you're getting this. We want people to think that they should only submit articles that are exclusive to easyarticles.com because it assists us greatly in creating more traffic, because the content is more unique and original to us. So I would probably send the same. It's probably not worth rewriting it.
Just with duplicate content issues, that's what I asked.
Yeah. I purposely didn't put duplicate content slides up because I knew somebody would ask about it. In fact, I'll cover that more a little bit here.
Chris, just for clarity, original content you don't syndicate, you mean that you put it on your own website?
Yes. And we'll use St. Bart's again. As that example would be an article on best beaches in St. Bart's would be an original content you don't syndicate on your own website. And you don't share it, and you don't allow it to be shared. Of course, you can't stop people from stealing it, because that's different. And then the second one is a percentage of your content being 15 to 50%. I really don't recommend more than 50% of the content, like of the 100% of your content that you have in your inventory, no more than 50% should be syndicated. User-generated content or articles, more the better. So you're on your own website, if it works for easyarticles.com, it might work for your website too. So if you have a website, many of you all do, I'm assuming, and you've got a niche website, why not accept articles from your users, from your clients, your members, those who want to contribute to your website? And the fourth one, reprint rights articles. Now, if number 2 is articles, okay, this is a difficult slide because we're talking not about easyarticles.com what we want. We're talking about your total article inventory. If the first one is original content you don't syndicate, and the second one is content you do syndicate, and the third one is content that people give to your website for free in exchange for a link back to their website, the fourth one is coming to a site like easyarticles.com and taking content. Of course, our terms of service allow 25 per site per year, and there's other sites, of course, that have higher allowances. In fact, if you want to find a way to violate our terms of service legally, here's what you do. You go and you find that, we'll use the St. Bart's again example. You go find the St. Bart's best author who writes from St. Bart. And you ask that person, hey, I see you've got 150 articles on St. Bart's. I have a website on that same topic. You mind if I grab all your articles? And if the author says yes, then we allow that because we never take possession of the content. So it's your content. So if you want to make a deal with someone who wants your content, you can use our site to let them take it. Any questions in this slide? Yeah. How do I feel about software, auto-generated content creation software? Market Samurai, never heard of it. I think it's all crap. I think all of those tools create regurgitated garbage content. And we've spent years creating this software called CASM, which stands for Content Association Sequence Matching. It's our proprietary way that we determine derivative content. And when you use a software article rewriter, it doesn't really produce unique original content that we can't detect. So I'm not a fan.
What about submityourarticle.com?
Is that Steve Shaw's business? I'm not sure. In general, we allow third-party article submission service providers like that. I'm not sure what they're all called now, but they used to be Article Marketer, and then they changed and Submit Your Article, and there's a few others like that. I think the best ones to find are the VA, the virtual assistant that will work one-on-one with you to grab your articles, develop relationships. There's a thread over the years that have gone that should you submit one article to, here's the question, should you submit one article to 200 websites or should you submit 200 articles to one website? And of course, I'm biased, I would like you to submit 200 articles to one website, mine. Because of course I get you more traffic than you can probably in those other 200 websites. But here's the real question. Can you find 200 websites that you trust? I don't know 200 websites I trust with my content. So I'm kind of scared about blasting my articles all over the internet. I'm not sure that you can trust them. I haven't found 200 I can trust. Any other questions on the content mix strategy? Okay, so who you're competing with. When you're writing and using content to attract traffic, you're competing with anyone who's involved in content arbitrage. Everyone here who writes articles, you're involved in arbitrage. You're trying to use content to attract traffic. There are big guys in 2010 coming out strong, and they have goals like to write and to accept or write or attract 1 million articles a month. And one of those is actually us. So every time you write an article, that's like the bad news. You know, the good news is this. 86% of our members, even today in 2010, 86% don't write more than 10 articles. So if you've written 11 articles, you've already you're in the top 15, 16% of our members. So it's really easy to dominate just by going into the volume thing. Social media, user-generated content, Twitter and Facebook, really consuming massive word creation happening. And every time there's a word on the internet, that's in competition with what you're doing. So you're competing against people who are systematically creating not hundreds of articles, not thousands, but they're creating tens and hundreds of thousands and millions of articles because they know, on the count of 3, write more articles. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Write more
Articles. 1, 2, 3 over here. Get more traffic. Get more traffic. That's right. So if you write more articles, you get more traffic, and the big guys know this. So if the big guys know this, now you know it. So what are you going to do with it, right? 6 tips to maximize your article title traffic yield. We know that the article, just like a headline in marketing, 95% of the success of an ad is usually the headline, right? Well, we know in article marketing and article writing and content and traffic attraction, because we have over 2.5 million articles. So we've got terabytes of data that support that the article title determines your traffic level. It's the single most greatest determinant. Don't sell hard on the body. Be original. Private label rates articles equals puke, even though at the very end I'm going to advocate the opposite of that for a specific reason. And it does take volume you must have volume to make an impact. And this is the original question before, 400 to 800 words. We allow 250 words low to 5,000 words high. But if you write 1,000 words, I know statistically that you can get more traffic with 2 500-word articles than with one 1,000-word article. Most people have a real hard time writing low word count articles. And I think the reason is because they think that, oh, I didn't deliver enough value yet. Do you ever feel that way? You're writing and it's like, oh, I just didn't get enough value yet. I got to keep writing some more. So what I recommend you do is create the accidental article set. Go ahead and write your 1,000-word article. When it's done, cut it in half. Create 2 article titles that are unique. Make sure the article reads right. An article title has a promise. The article title is a promise that you deliver in the article body. Okay? And you'll get more traffic with 2 500-word articles than one 1,000-word article.
Explain to me, please, what you mean on number 4 there.
It takes volume of article. Well, more articles equals more traffic. So if you don't want more traffic, then you can have 10 articles. But if you want more traffic, you have to do volume. Imagine if easyarticles.com only had 2,000 articles instead of 2.5 million. We would have no traffic. We would not have 1 million daily visitors if we didn't have 2.5 million articles. This gentleman here had a question. I'll come right back to you. You had a question? Don't sell hard on the body. This means don't create an article title that makes a promise and then talk for 3 paragraphs on how great you are as an expert. And then an old trick was this. I'm not going to tell you how to solve a problem. I'm going to create a promise in my article title, and then I'm going to give this little, I'm going to say, I'm going to give you the reasons why it's important to solve this problem, and never really going to give you the how. And that's an old trick. And of course, we don't accept that trick anymore at our site. But other sites might yet. Don't do that, no. No, give a genuine delivery in the promise in the title. Make good on the article body. I'm sorry, you had a question?
It wasn't a question. I just know somebody that has 2,000 articles there, and their monthly income is about $30,000 a month.
So you know a person who has 2,000 articles on their own website or on our site or where? On our site, and they're making how much a month? $30,000 a month. Awesome. You know, one of the great things about article writing and marketing that I love about this business is that you cannot get rich quick. That person who has 2,000 articles, that was not an overnight success. That was consistency and time writing and submitting, optimizing, improving. One tip I recommend, don't be the person who tries to over-optimize 20 articles. This is a trap. Some people start writing articles and then they learn a new technique and they learn a new tip. So instead of continuously optimizing your existing content, learn from it. Write new articles with your new knowledge. You'll get a higher return on your time than if you keep on optimizing your old content, because you can't possibly make a big difference statistically by re-optimizing your old articles. And the resource box seals the deal. The resource box is the signature. It's the thing below the article body. So an article has a title, a byline, which is your name, the body of the article that delivers on the promise you made in the title, and then right below the article body is the thing we call the resource box. And this is, of course, where you deliver for more tips and information, surf my website, get my free report, join my list, whatever it is. This is a little, you won't believe me. I'm going to tell you the truth, and you don't have to believe me, because we make our money through advertising, right? And it blows me away that even though the resource box is below the fold, the click-through rate and the number of clicks that we deliver per day, which is between 175,000 to 230,000 clicks per day we deliver to our 240,000 members. I'll repeat that. We deliver 175,000 to 230,000 clicks a day to our 240,000 members. We do not deliver 200,000 clicks to Google. So even though we have 17 to 30 text ads on every article, the click-through rate on the resource box, which is below the fold, exceeds all the advertising, because people are savvy. They're reading the article, they're getting the value, they've learned to ignore the ads. So this slide's on writing for syndication in mind. So if you want to write your content so that other people want to distribute your content, you're kind of at odds. You have to make some decisions. One of the decisions is, should I write for traffic or should I write for syndication? Because they're in conflict. An example, how many people here are publishers? Raise your hand if you're a publisher. Okay? Of those who raise your hand that you're a publisher, if an article is sold hard in the body, you're probably not going to reprint it, right? If it has 2 self-serving links or 3 self-serving links, are you going to reprint it? No, you're probably not going to reprint it. So if you want to increase the people who reprint your articles, you got to bring it down to 1 link. And statistically, we know that 2 links will get you as much traffic and a click-through rate as 3 links. So therefore, it's best to go with 1 or 2. 2 links will get you the most traffic from us. 1 link may get you the most syndication or distribution. Perhaps test both and see which one works for you. In the resource box, we allow 2 self-serving active links back to your website. And you can make, one mistake I see people doing is that they put anchor text links only because they think they're doing this for search engine something. And so they put these 2 anchor text links in the resource box, and then along comes a webmaster. And one of the things about webmasters, of course we're one as well, as many of you are, webmasters in general are incompetent, right? We're all learning. When they reprint that article in a text-based newsletter, or they slam it into their content management system, anchor text links don't always become active links. So I recommend including one http:// full URL as your base URL. Because other than that, you won't get traffic beyond easyarticles.com. So while click here as an anchor text link might get you a lot of traffic from our site, you might get no traffic from the next site that reprints your article, especially if your article gets reprinted in an email newsletter. That's just text, because of course you can't have anchor text links in text newsletters. Here's an example of a resource box. I'm going to give you a quick 3 slides on resource box secrets. The thing that's yellow there, this part, this is the resource box. Now, if you've listened this week to some of the presenters, they've all told you that pictures, maybe you know this to be true for yourself, pictures in an ad increase the click-through. I noticed this down in the elevator. There's this hot girl saying, "Come to this party tonight." It's like, if that hot girl wasn't in that picture, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't go to the party. So we know that that works, right? So if you include your author photo, and here's a question. If you have ghostwriters and you're using a pen name, what should you do there, huh? So I recommend buying exclusive rights photos for that. Do you agree with that? Yeah. It would be better for you to create a brand with a person. In fact, if I were in the roles reversed, and we weren't just a content platform, we were competing with you, which we're not doing, I would want to have, like Mavis Beacon or Peter Norton, maybe he's real, but various brands where you take an exclusive rights person, a photo, not just your royalty-free photo stock that you get from various Shutter stock inventory, but I would create a brand, create a person, and then try to keep that consistent throughout your syndication. Here's some essential elements. This is what you must have in your resource box to get success. Your author name. Now, most people disagree with that, actually. They say, why do I have to repeat my author name? My author name is in the byline. I'm not important. In fact, one of the first ways we know you didn't write the content is if you don't put your author name in the resource box. That's one of our clues. So if you don't repeat your author name, we think you're not proud of the article and you don't want to take credit for it. Of course, that's not true, I'm sure. But that's what we think. Your website URL, your unique selling proposition, USP is unique selling proposition, and a call to action. What you should not include, of course, is your resume. You should not include websites that are unrelated to your websites. And using the St. Barth's example, if you also have a website on yoga, you should not include that. And no one really cares about your resume. Right? This is where you want to have a very specific, very tight, look how tight mine is in the example. It's like 1 paragraph, maybe 2. Very tight, very short. Here's how I can benefit you if you click on my website. Optional elements, your easy subscription, a free report. If you want to increase your click-through rate, you got to offer a free report. We have statistics that show that the word free in a resource box absolutely increases click-through rate. So can you give them a free report? Can you give them a free newsletter? Can you give them a free ebook, a free PDF, a free white paper, something for free? Anchor text link is optional, as well as your contact info. I would not put your email address. I would not put your telephone number. Think evergreen. Think forever. Think your articles are going to be up on the internet beyond your life. It's not just the next 3 years. Here's a big mistake. It's a real quick one. A bad example is visit Chris at yourcompanyname.com, period. Can anyone see the difference between the bad and the good example? That's right, there's a period. And only in certain websites, only in certain programs will they ignore that period. Other sites will break that URL and you won't get traffic. What you should do is not put a period. You should put visit Chris : at, and then no period. To boost your content marketing strategy ROI, include the word free. We know that click here works pretty well. That's a clue. Stay focused. Don't tell your life story. Get right to the point. Here's how I can benefit you. Here's, maybe the more related it is to the content that you just wrote, the better. In fact, we even offer a resource box databasing thing where you can have multiple database resource boxes that tie into the same kind of content. So if you write different content, you have different resource boxes that tell the same story. Your goal is to not sell the user or flip them. For affiliate marketers, usually they think, how can I think of this as pay-per-click arbitrage? How can I just write some articles and make some money? And it's just that simple. It's not. It's write some articles, get some traffic to your website, then make some money. It's up to you to figure out how to monetize that content, monetize that visitor. Here's quick 7 dangerous pitfalls to avoid. And I made this slide this morning because I usually never make my PowerPoints before the conference. I usually make them while I'm coming to the conference. But I added this slide this morning because I wanted to make an affiliate marketer version. First pitfall is going for quality alone. I'm going to have the best articles in the world. All 7 of them. You know? And that doesn't really work, right? Too much hyper bragging. Making your content broad or superficial. Instead of saying, here's how to lose weight, instead of saying, oh yeah, here's the 7 tips how to get fabulous abs. Eat less, work out more, do sit-ups, right? No, that's not enough. What specifically about eating? What specifically about, what type of sit-up do you do? How long do you do that sit-up? Why do you do this certain type of sit-up or this certain type of crunch? Get real specific, because people are writing rehashed, regurgitated crap, article vomit content. They're going broad and superficial because they're not experts. Failure to deliver an article title promise. This is like 8 to 12% of the articles that are submitted to our site get rejected because they make this big promise in their article title and then they fail to deliver. You got to deliver. Buying PLR, which is private label rights, or blatantly trusting your ghostwriters. And then submission infrequency. I don't know, there's probably a better way to say that. Just like advertising, you don't advertise just once. You advertise month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year. You write articles month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year. You keep on doing it, and because that will compound your results. And then failure to create systems to scale. Who here has a system that you want to share right now as to how you scale article writing? Anyone? How you scale article writing. Things that you do that make it easier to crank out 5 articles a day, 4 articles a day.
I use dictation software.
Dictation software, like Dragonfly, is it? What's it called? Max Speech. Yeah. They work pretty good?
It's like 99% accurate.
99%. So then you just have an editor, or do you clean it up yourself afterwards? Do you?
Clean it up as I'm doing it.
All right. Anyone else here do dictation and then? Yep. All right. Other ideas to create systems to scale?
Cascading content.
Cascading content. What's that?
Record a podcast.
Okay.
Turn it into a couple articles. Turn it into a couple blog posts. Turn it into a couple Twitter posts.
Sure. So Jay just said cascading content, which is his way of saying repurpose and repackage your content. Create a podcast and then transcribe that. Create articles, create blog posts off that, create Twitter posts off that, and keep on repurposing that content. Repurposing isn't the same thing as rehashing. It's 2 different things. Yeah.
I'll write a group of articles on a related topic, but taking different angles. And because
Okay.
I'm in the zone,
A group of articles, different angles.
but the same general topic.
Okay.
That way you're in the zone, you're doing all the same kind of content.
So when you write like 5 to 10 articles a day, you'll write them all on the same topics rather than all over the place.
Yeah, they're all related in some way.
Sure. Okay. That's brilliant because most likely you're inspired by the things you're writing about. Okay, good. Any other ideas on how to scale and systematize the scaling of content production?
I don't know whether this is great or not, but when I read stories about other people, if I take notes on the inspiration that it gave me,
Mm-hmm.
then that helps me go back to the notes.
All right. So you take notes and you're inspired and then you create content off those notes? All right.
The question I would ask the group is, like, for very niche content sites, where do you find the writers?
For niche content sites, this gentleman has a question. He says, for niche content websites, where do you find great writers?
Like the St. Bart's example, I'm not convinced that some of the sources, go back and
Sure.
but if you go on Elance and you look for somebody who's really knowledgeable
Right.
about St. Bart's, you're going to find them. Like, where do you?
If it were me, I would hire a team. In fact, I'm building a 3-story building, and my second story, which is 33,000 square feet, is dedicated to our writing team. So I would hire locally. Seriously, I would train them how to write and research and produce the content. That won't always work, of course, for very specific content. Because in my little Green Bay, Wisconsin home, we're not going to find St. Bart's experts. It's probably not going to happen. But I know that we can research and write content because that's a trade, that's a craft. So, anyone else want to help this gentleman out here with places where you can find niche content? Which niche do you work in? What's your all over the place? All right. Ideas? Go ahead.
I've found some high-quality writers on Elance.
Elance?
That are, stay-at-home moms with a master's degree, ex-teacher, and whenever you get those, keep them, and keep them busy. And
Sure. So he uses Elance, and you got two.
And I read all my articles before I submit them.
Sure. So you could create like a contest or something and have 10 people submit articles and then figure out which ones got the goods and then get. I would rather always have fewer writers and have them and build a big trust relationship, right?
Yeah, American writers don't go with.
He says American writers.
I have Indian programmers.
Sure. If you have Indian, not because we have a lot of American Indians. If you have Indian writers, the number one mistake that they make is they don't put spacing after the punctuation. I don't get it. That's just their language translation to English. So you have to like add a space after the period. It's just the thing. Any other tips to help find niche writers?
If you post a job on something like Elance or Rent-A-Coder for a writer,
Or Rent-A-Coder?
yeah,
Okay.
you can actually specify that you want someone with experience in that particular niche, and you'll find a lot of times people will respond with a story about content they've already written or something they've already done the research on.
So this gentleman says, write that you have you're looking for a specific expertise in this niche. Don't just say, I want 50 articles on St. Bart's. Say, I want a person who has been to St. Bart's and has visited and toured. And of course, the chances of finding that writer is probably lower. Might take a longer time, but your chances of getting a higher quality writer is much higher. To post an affiliate link on easyarticles.com, we have a big hurdle. One little hurdle. You cannot post an affiliate link on easyarticles.com directly. However, you can post a domain name that you own that 301 rewrites to your affiliate link. I don't know how long that's going to last. But right now, to get an affiliate link, if you're just an affiliate marketer, you don't have content websites, you don't have a second website, you just want to go straight affiliate link, you have to own a domain name. And we do that as a hurdle because we find that having a required person to pay $10 for a domain name eliminates 90-some% of the fly-by-night, I'm just testing and I don't care about quality. Any questions on that? You can link to your own website. You can deep link, yes. See, in fact, a lot of people do that. They'll deep link directly to a blog entry, a very long URL, or their homepage. So the examples on the top that are not acceptable are like a page name, a subdirectory with another page name, or a subdomain. We don't allow those, but we do allow a full domain name. The affiliate links must be placed in the resource box. The author must own the URL, and links must be the primary or top-level domain. If you have, for every affiliate offer you have, you need another domain name. Yes. And again, we've had this now for, what, 6 years, this policy. I don't know if we'll ever end it. So right now, that's what it is. It's a domain name. Yeah. And our software now will automatically reject, go ahead. One domain name per, right. Because some people have created some software. People have taken this challenge, they've challenged us, and they said, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to register a domain name, and then I'm going to do this complex writing thing that if they'll have something after it, like a page name. And if that page name comes in from easyarticles.com, then rewrite that one to my affiliate link A or B. And we've stopped that because one of our goals is to be your highest non-search engine referrer of traffic. So after Google and Bing or Microsoft, Yahoo, we want to be your top search engine, non-search engine referrer of traffic. In order to do that, we have to make the search engines look good for having referred traffic to us so that you can also be referred traffic. So if you're just sending our traffic that comes into our site or that we generate through RSS feeds and email alerts and just flip them to an affiliate link, we're not always sure that that delivered value. Okay, so there's three types of people here, three types of examples. The S stands for a syndicated article. The little @ sign, if you can see it there, is your article. And so when you begin, you dabble. And this is, your goal, of course, is to dominate, right? So the more articles, more traffic. Just a little visual for you. Your goal, of course, is to get to the dominate as quickly as possible. It's a pretty little thing there. Okay, this is one of my favorite slides. When you go home and you're on the airplane, I want you to think, how can I increase my content footprint? Because I know if I have more content, I can get more traffic. I can't get more traffic without more content. It's not possible. It's not sustainable. So how can I get more, how can I increase my content footprint? Think multi-year. That means, how will you reclaim lost traffic? Affiliate programs come and go, right? How many of you here are affiliate marketers for more than a decade? Good handful. So you know how many affiliate programs are you doing today that you did 10 years ago? Yeah, 0 or 1. It's very low, right? None? Do you have any? 0. Yeah, think about that. So content that I wrote in 1999 is going to an affiliate link that oh, wait a minute, that's right, I own the domain name. I can rewrite the traffic. Awesome. So there's a little built-in benefit to owning the domain name. Make sure you reclaim your lost traffic. Here's some tips for affiliate managers. Now, these tips are going to be in conflict with easyonarticles.com terms of service. So now I'm talking to you as a guy who wants to help you get traffic with content. Okay? How many of you here are affiliate managers where you actually manage affiliates? Good quarter, 25% of you? So here's what, if I were an affiliate manager, here's what I would do. I would designate 10 to 75, maybe 100 articles, and I'd make it available to my affiliates. Okay? So you become an affiliate of mine for pitching my whatever, my product, my ebook, my info product, my whatever the product is. You're going to get 100 articles from me that you can add to your own website or send to your list or add to your sequenced email series right now. Then I'm going to provide you with 3 to 30 articles per month, every month, that you can reprint along with your affiliate link. You should spell out the reprint rights so that your articles don't show up in bad websites. You don't want this content showing up on porn or bad sites. You don't always have control over that. Number 4, don't release all of your articles to your affiliates. 30 to 50% of the most, keep 50%. I would never give away more than 50% of my, I would keep 50% of my content to be exclusive rights to my website. So this content you might not be able to submit to easyonarticles.com. Most likely not at all, because it's not exclusive rights. Any questions on this? Summary. You get highly pre-qualified free traffic is the reason. Traffic is directly proportional to article inventory. You want to develop an article writing team, a process, a strategy. You handle the article title writing. In fact, I kind of glossed over this, but this is really important. One of the big changes we're making on our site this year is we're crunching through tens of terabytes of data, and we're going to begin providing our premium members first and then our platinum members with article titles. We're going to stop expecting our members to be experts at figuring out what to write about. They already are experts in their niche, wherever they are. We're going to be giving them titles to write about. I've been spending 9 months on this software, this technology, and it'll be released. I'll see the example sometime next week. So you want to do the same thing for yourself. You want to write your own article titles. You want to do that for your affiliates. I wouldn't assume that your ghostwriters know what to write about. Scale then from dozens to hundreds to tens of thousands of articles. Yes, people have written, this lady, you said that they had 2,000 articles and they're making $30,000 a month. Yeah, I find that hard to believe that the articles alone are creating that I know because of the FTC I would make that claim, but that's pretty aggressive. That's phenomenal because the average article receives between 20 to 250 views per year and gets 2 to 12% click-through rate. The average click-through rate of our website, if you know that I shared before that we send 175,000 to 230,000 clicks per day, and you know we get about 2 million page views a day, so then you know our click-through rate's about 9% on a slight average. However, if you get anything more than 2%, you're doing really well. Some people in certain niches get between 10 to 30% click-through rate. It's crazy. And it's not going to happen in most, you shouldn't expect it to happen. I wouldn't expect it to happen. I'm not even sure I want to accept it. I'm not sure that I want to accept the content that gets the 30% click-through rate. Not because I don't want them to win and get a lot of traffic, but because there's a reason why it's having that high click-through rate. Perhaps the article didn't deliver. That's my assumption. And it's in topics that are like reverse cell phone and things that are questionable. Automated systematized, and one last time. On the count of 3, you're all going to say, write more articles. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Write more articles. Oh, come on, a little louder. 1, 2, 3. Write more articles. Over here. On the count of 3, you're going to say, get more traffic. 1, 2, 3. Get more traffic. That's right. Because if you write more articles, you'll get more traffic. That's simple. Any questions?
Like, one of the disconnects for me is if I'm in a highly optimized vertical and I write articles, I'm trying to figure out, do those articles just end up showing, I mean, who else besides my competition would want to put those articles out? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you're thinking like yourself, not like the market.
Right. So help me.
Okay, so, and you're thinking, why would my competition want to take my articles?
Why would anybody want my article?
What's your niche? Or give me market research. Well, every publisher knows that they need more articles to get more traffic. So the selfishness of the publisher, they need more content just because they need more traffic, not because they compete with you. I'm not sure if I'm answering his question. Do you want to, I'm not sure I'm not understanding your question.
Well, I guess I'm just wondering if I want to write articles that encourages somebody to follow a certain action, like
Right.
my website.
Right.
Who goes and picks up those articles?
Easing publishers. Everybody who writes an email newsletter has a problem. How many of you write an email newsletter? Those of you who raised your hand, how difficult is it to create new content every single week? 52 weeks a year, year after year, right? It's difficult. And so you're writing content, all of a sudden you're meeting a deadline. I can't meet my deadline. I can't write a new article. I'm going to sneak over to easingarticles.com or another website, and I'm going to take and steal that article legally for free and reprint it. And then the payment that I take for taking it, let's say you're an expert author and you give me your content, my payment to you is that link back to your website. Thank you. That's it. So easing publishers, webmasters who are looking for content. If I'm ready, here's an example. Let's just say I'm creating a website on a research website. One of my goals as a publisher is to be comprehensive. I know I can't be comprehensive if I only have my own content on my own website. I know that by adding your content to my website, even if it is non-exclusive rights to my website, it makes my delivery to my users more comprehensive, which is a value. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah. So let me ask this.
Want to take the mic there? Yeah. Take the mic.
Okay. What controls are in place to keep somebody from stripping the resource box?
Okay. He says, what controls will prevent people from stealing the content? There are none. We know this. We know that content thieves do not rise to traffic power over the long term. So if you become popular enough to have your content stolen, congratulations. Welcome to the initiation of how it all works. People will steal your content. Even when you don't syndicate your content, they will steal your content. It's going to happen. But we know that there are so many market forces out there, like Google. There's market forces like yourself. You're going to contact. The fastest way to get them to take the content down is to send them an email. If they don't take the content down, then you can contact their web host. If their web host doesn't take the content down, you can contact their web host's web host. You can go all the way to tier 1. And every single ISP and web host in the world will not allow copyright infringement or reprint rights infringement. They will act to stop the transgressor. But we also know that people who steal content never rise to traffic power. That means people will not profit greatly over stealing your content. If they did, that'd be a really big problem, right? Yeah. So unfortunately, when you put your content out there, it's just kind of part of we can't stop it. We go after wholesale content theft. We have anti-scraping tools, we have anti-phishing tools, anti-search scraping tools. We have a whole suite of security. We have 3 people full-time in security. So we do what we can to stop scrapers from scraping. But ultimately, if you're popular enough, you're going to have your content ripped.
All right, thanks.
Do you often see the easing article indexed in Google and not the original one on the original website?
Yeah, so the question is, do we see the original article indexed on Easing Articles before your own original website?
Right, yeah, which one maybe in the long term ends up showing up in Google?
which one shows up in Google. So if you post your article on our website first, versus, this is like the question is, should I post here first at easyarticles.com or should I post on my own website first? And an article that no one has seen has brought you no traffic. So you have to kind of like this to determine which will get me more results. Because if we can get you 200 views in the first 3 months versus maybe 8 to 20 if you have a brand new website, then okay, then send it to us. If you can get 200 views in the first 3 months, then put it on your own website first. We don't care.
So it's just a matter of where it gets posted first.
Yeah.
You don't want to post them simultaneously.
Sure, I would. But others have it. Everyone does something different. Like, what do you do, Kathy? Do you post your own website first? Kathy posts her own website first. If I were selfish, we all are self-serving, right? So I would probably post on my own website first, just because I've been around for a long time. If I'm brand new though, and this is my first 3 months on the internet, I'm gonna send it into easyarticles.com because we can get you a heck of a lot more traffic. You don't exist for multiple years when you're first starting out. So I'm assuming that you've already started, you're further along, right? Or where are you at? Are you like 3 years into it or 5 years into it? Or how many years have you been doing?
With the one I'm thinking of, it's about a year old.
About a year. All right.
Regularly, so
Yeah.
it's just a matter of probably putting it on your website, waiting until that article gets indexed in Google, and then submitting it to
Well, or creating something different to put on easyarticles.com. So
Right.
that gets there quickly too.
So another strategy is to write a different article, rewrite the article. Is that what you're kind of saying? All right. I got about one more question I can take. And
My notes show here PLR equals P.
private label rights.
Right, okay. So, what's your opinion of the article marketing automation service?
I do not like any article marketing automation services because they are in direct conflict with one of my goals, which is to keep out derivative content. Our success in making Google and Bing and Yahoo look good for having referred traffic to us is by keeping derivative content out of our site. Now, did you also catch that I advocated just a little bit ago, though, PLR content for affiliate managers? Because I really believe strongly in content marketing, that you can use content to attract traffic. So thank you for coming today. I appreciate it. I'll stick around if you have any additional questions.